The WF C700N might just be Sony's genius move. Let's delve into that. Goedendag, we are DHRME. Dedicated headphone reviewers, magic energy. We're going to compare these buds with the best alternatives at its price, as well as the other Sony earbuds. But before that, let's start with
battery life, because this is a bit weird. We found that Sony claims that these have a battery life of 5 hours on their site. But that's almost definitely a mistake, because in our DHRME battery rundown test, the WC C700N gave us a solid 8 hours on SBC and 7 hours on AAC, with audio playing continuously at a comfortable volume, around 40% on the respective phones. So there's good news on the buds, but with the case, not so much. We found that it could only hold 2 charges before it completely drained. That might leave you reaching for the charger more often than you'd like. And there's no wireless charging on board because, hey, corners had to be cut.
Talking about cut corners, the case is portable and pocketable, but with its rounded design, it may not be the most comfortable thing in your skinny jeans pocket. We much prefer flat and thin over rounded and long. That's not what You also get a pretty basic IPX4 water resistance rating, which is fine when you're out in the rain and wind. Just don't go out in tornadoes or a desert or in a desert tornado. So we'll be honest here. We think these are a great pick for workouts because A, they grip really well in the ear. I've tried to actually get them out by shaking my head. I was not successful. And they're comfortable for, relatively short periods of time because they actually seal quite well. So you may have discomfort after maybe, 1 or 2 hours. And secondly, I think these look pretty sleek, right? I mean, they look like they're almost blending into my ear. You can't say that for all earbuds. Also in terms of the color, I really like this black one here. And not all of us need gold accents when we are walking outside to kind of highlight our earbuds. So it fits quite well with our style statement.
And when you're outside, you might also want to make some calls to your loved ones or customer service. I'm not sure who you call. When it comes to calls, the WF C700N is definitely usable. Sony has stepped up its game in recent times with improved microphones, so you'll sound clear and present on those important calls. Here's some microphone samples for you, and longer ones will be added for our Icicle and Tested patrons and YouTube members.
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3.
The WF C700 comes with solid buttons. We love how big and easy to hit these buttons are. And buttons are always better than touch controls if you have gloves on or if you have wet hands. But there are a couple of observations we want to share with you guys, which most other reviewers who are just reading specs won't probably share. We got a surprising number of false taps from these buds, sometimes while placing buds on a table or picking them up, etc. And it's surprising because with buttons we expect 0 false taps. But this is fine, it's not the end of the world. Now, we have the WF C500, which has the exact same kind of buttons. And you know what? The right button seems a bit harder to press than the left one. This was definitely not the case when we started with these buds. So we're not entirely sure how these physical buttons will hold up over time.
But other than that, this is the standard Sony fare. Sony forces you to choose between 2 out of 3 sets of controls: noise cancelling controls, playback controls, and volume controls. Disappointing since so many other companies have figured out getting all 3 on at once. Now let's talk about sound, guys. If I were to summarize these in one word, it would be inoffensive. The stock tuning leans more towards an emphasis on the mid bass. Out of the box, the tuning is okay, but there's way too much emphasis in that mid bass region. I mean, of the LinkBuds S, the WF C500 and the XM4, these have the most mid bass out of the box, which is saying something. However, sub bass leaves something to be desired, and this is probably a limitation of the hardware here. There's a 5mm driver on these. Thanks to the Sony Headphones Connect app though, you can work on EQing these with the 5-band EQ and clear bass slider. We also found that these sounded a bit boring-ish at lower volumes. Crank them up though and you'll get a more enjoyable listening experience with the sound really opening up. While pop and bass heavy tracks might not be the WF C700N's forte, they handle jazz surprisingly well, albeit with a less spacious soundstage. The treble isn't the airiest or crispest, but it's serviceable, and there's some resolution loss because codec-wise you're limited to SBC and AAC. Overall, these are fine for sound, but didn't blow us away. We actually prefer every other Sony wireless earbuds to these. Well, except the link buds, because there's a transparent hole in the middle of those buds. But okay, let's talk about transparency.
These buds rank pretty high for transparency. We put it at tier A, the same category as the Link Buds S, but with a different frequency emphasis. For this price, this is as good as it gets. However, they do suffer from a significant amount of white noise, making it feel like there's an AC running in a quiet room. Still, they outshine the XM4 on transparency, which just shows how fast transparency in ANC tech has been moving lately. As for the ANC though, it's a whole different story. The WF C700N's ANC is far worse than the Link Buds S, and it sits at a modest tier D. Even the lower frequencies are not fully eliminated, and it's clear that Sony is using a not so great ANC chip on these.
In terms of extras, you get Google Fast Pair, which is great if you have multiple Android phones. But another corner that has been cut is that there's no in-ear sensor to automatically play or pause your audio as you place or remove these buds from your ears. There's no wireless charging, as we mentioned earlier. There's no multi-point at release, but Sony's website promises that this is coming in the summer of 2023. And if history is anything to go by, it will happen as it did with the Link Buds S and the Sony WF-1000 XM4. Comparing with the competition, which other buds would we consider at the price of about $120 at launch? Well, there are many. We've done a ton of videos here. This part of the market is getting really hot right now, but let's just do 3 for now. The newly released Jabra Elite 4, the Soundcore Space A40 and the JBL Live Pro 2 are all competitors here with better ANC chops. Controls are better on Jabra. JBL settles for AAC, no high quality codec, so comparable to the Sony. Soundcore is a very well-rounded device too. Again, though, we've said this before and we'll say it again, the Earfun Air Pro 3 is the strongest contender. They're actually cheaper, sound good, do better at ANC and transparency. They have wireless charging, are comfortable, better battery life, a better codec, just so much more. But if you wanted to look at the better brands, we would say that the JBL Live Pro 2 actually takes the win on most counts from the Sony WF C700N.
And what about Sony's other buds? Remember we said this at the start of the video?
The WF C700N might just be Sony's genius move.
Well, the genius move is that Sony Link Buds S look much better when you compare them with the WF C700N. The ANC is way better, they sound better, come with bells and whistles like wireless charging and a wear sensor. But there is a significant price difference between the two, almost twice the price. So these compromises might actually be worth it for some of you. We're not going to do a full comparison of all of Sony's older earbuds, however, because we've already done that. Click here for that video.
So in conclusion, the Sony WF C700N offers solid battery life, decent sound, good transparency, a comfortable fit, nice clicky tappy buttons, respectable call quality, and a new password option for you. However, corners have been cut literally and physically, including the ANC experience, which isn't quite up to par with the competition. If you are set on a Sony product at this price point, sure, consider the WF C700N. Otherwise, there's a world of alternatives out there for you to explore. You've been seeing 700W in the F with the N.
And we've been DHRME. Namaste.
This is
Here are some microphone samples for you and...
my goodness.
on those phone. When it comes to calls, the WF C700N's...